Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Chase Hutchinson. I'm a contributor and critic at The Wrap, and I'm so excited to be moderating this panel, a case study on The Substance, and I'm going to let my wonderful, esteemed group of panelists introduce themselves, how they got involved on the film. Daphne, would you like to start?
Yes, so my name is Daphne Laurent. I'm the head of Film France CNC, the National French Film Commission. So we support any international production coming to France through the tax rebate, location scouting, permits, visa, anything you need to go filming in France.
Hi everyone, I'm Charvin Shafagi. I'm the VFX supervisor of Noid, and we've done some pretty beautiful creatures on the movie.
Hi, bonjour. I'm Nicolas Royer, executive producer, French producer of The Substance, a co-founder of the production service company Voulez-vous. Nice to meet you.
Thank you all so much for being here. Yeah, give them a round of applause. Daphne, I wanted to start with you because the business side of film is just as important to making sure an artist has everything they need. What was kind of the incentive and background that you were able to offer to The Substance?
Yeah, actually, just before talking about the incentive per se, I would like to go back to how this whole adventure started, because it was here in Cannes in 2021. So when we say that, exciting things happen in Cannes, and they do. And so it was before my time as head of Film France. It was my colleagues. There was a meeting with Coraline at that time. She was working on the movie. It's an American movie financed by Universal, but she couldn't do it in the US because the budget was too big compared to what she had. And we're like discussing with her, and it would be a shame that this movie wouldn't exist. I was like, maybe you should think about coming to France as a US production through the tax rebate. And so it's time now to explain about how it worked. So the French tax rebates amount to 30% of eligible expenses spent in France. But if you do spend 2 million on VFX, you can actually go up to 40% on all eligible expenses. And that's what has the case on The Substance with the VFX that was done with Noid and CGEV. And so then it's 80% of the total budget, up to 30 million, so you have enough. It's a very reliable tax rebate. It's been in place since 2009. There is no annual envelope, so you can come anytime as you want. So it's really beneficial. And actually, maybe I'll give the mic to Nicolas, because we expand the tax rebate, but then you came in the story, and you can...
Yes, so The Substance is a film produced by a working title with Universal Pictures. And first, the first reaction said, it's okay, it's a film, it's a world to create, so let's go to maybe Hungary, Czech Republic, or Romania to see the cost, because it will be maybe cheaper and maybe afford to the film more shooting days. I don't know if you have seen this film, but it's a film with a lot of effects and prosthetics, which takes time to do. And so, in fact, all the beats was too expensive or not able to allow the number of shooting days the director absolutely wanted to get. And she called me just after Festival de Cannes, and she said, Nicolas, what if we, supported by the French tax rebate, maybe we can think together a different way to make this movie, because in my movie I have some parts I need, like really Hollywood. It's Hollywood way of making movie with a big crew, a lot of effects, but a big part of the movie it's more close to the body I want to shoot, and I don't need a lot of people to do that. So maybe we could have two different kind of shoot in the film: Hollywood movie and Nouvelle Vague movie. So that means American way to make movie for studio film, and French way to make movie, and the both together maybe it will work. So this is the way we try to explore, and we discovered that it was the perfect the perfect way to make the film, and the cost decreased. And after we had just to find the people able to make the film in France, and the project was so original, so exciting, that it was not very difficult to get the people. So we got the guy from the prosthetics. He won a Oscar and a BAFTA for the prosthetics in the film, and all the other people. The only one head of department which we decided to hire not in France was the DOP, because we wanted different eyes to tell by the picture Hollywood, you know. So we worked with a UK DOP, and after, for the post production, we find amazing vendors for VFX and everything. So the film was 100% shot in France and 100% post-produced in France too.
So
within the
I
budget.
had to add something, because now that the finance is done, we know that in France it would work. To go back to the tax rebate, to qualify, you have a cultural test to pass. And so in this test, you have points if you have a cast and crew from France and Europe, done as we've heard a lot of French head of production. Then if you rent infrastructure, so they shot in studio, they had VFX, so everything they qualify. But then, is there any? Yeah. But then the first part of the tax of the cultural test is actually dramatic content. So we look at element of the scenario. So I don't know if everybody here have seen the movie, but it's actually an American stories. American character is set in LA. So there is no element linked to France or Europe. So one of the challenge was, would it qualify? And you have different elements there. So if you have a French version of the title, you get points. But then we miss some of the points. And actually, on the scenario, there is, for those who have seen it, a turning point in the scenario when Demi Moore's character is confronting or double, by cooking this frenzy cooking scene. She actually take a French cooking book, and she's doing all these classical dishes, and that got the points for the link to the culture, French culture. And actually in Cannes, when it premiered last year, I was really curious about that scene, and all the Theatre Lumière laughed when they saw that. So I was like, oh, okay, they see that it's a French-related element. So, and the Film France team really helped, and is helping, the director and the producer to go through the test, and because we couldn't imagine that this movie wouldn't exist.
No, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. I was wondering if you all wanted to kind of weigh in on that Los Angeles set, but French shot, and that it is a movie about fame in Los Angeles and stardom, but is also very French body horror, French extremist. What kind of the conversations were like about giving that its moment on the big screen, and why it had to be in France for you all?
What was helpful is that Coralie immediately decided to really take the money and use the money of the budget where she need to be in the on screen. So we really try to make really this exercise on the budget that to optimize each euro and so, for example, between going to LA or shooting in Cannes, but when Demi Moore is walking in the street, we shot just in front of the Carlton. You will see it. And we just needed the blue sky with this light we have here, very close to the light in California, and the palm trees, and which was very helpful for example, if the film would have been shot in Hungary, it would be they would have to go to Spain or maybe France, or additional costs, etc. And this was also the decision of the director to do it. She said that I don't want to spend too much money to go to US, and what we also to make the Los Angeles in the film very realistic. We spend a lot of money in the background of in the apartment. You see the view, the apartment view. So we decided to, we made a test between a green screen, LED wall, and just a photo printed and a lot of light, and we choose this this process. But we spend a lot of money on the light to make it real, and it works. And after, for the audience to see this this view in the apartment was enough to imagine that the story was shot in LA. But it has to be because we saw a lot of things with you know, a photo printed in the background, which was very fake, looks very fake. So it can be very realistic if we use money. So we spend the money here instead of you know, comment dire.
You know, on the, you mentioned natural location. Most of it is shot in studio, but you mentioned the light that is very similar here than in California. And actually, our film commissioner from Côte d'Azur, Camille Ferret, was actually in the room. She helped with the natural location. And so, of course, when you think LA, you think palm tree. And so she found some palm tree here in Cannes. But actually, the day of shooting, they were trimming the palm tree. So they were nothing like, you know, a Californian palm tree. So they had to stop the trimming. But then it was not quite that, and so Camille and the team managed to find other locations that, you know, were just right for the movie.
Who here has seen The Substance? I know we've asked it a couple times. Okay, because I'm about to spoil some things. You should go and see it. I wanted to talk about the VFX, because we're seeing some of Demi Moore in prosthetics, but it's also a kind of beautiful merging between those practical elements and the more digital part of it. And I was curious if you could talk to what the experience was like of finding that balance, integrating them together for what we end up seeing.
Yeah, sure. From the beginning, Coralie wanted, you know, to pay on like an homage to the old movie, 80s movie, like Carpenter's movie, Cronenberg. So it was the main vision of all the prosthetic work done, beautifully done by Pierre-Olivier Persin. But she was also, you know, curious about what we can help with visual effects, what we can enhance, and still respect the vision she had from the beginning. So what we've done basically is we scan everything we can on set, 3D scan. We get a lot of reference. We get some reference photos, shooting from specific technical plates, everything we can from Demi. So she, you know, she was very patient to give us all the data we need, and we rebuilt her face. And basically, we've done a digital double of her first, but that was not the goal at the end, because we needed to find a way to blend completely with the suit, and you know, still keep this feeling of silicones and all the materials used on set to don't get rid of the look at the end. So we spend a lot of time try to fit exactly Demi's face, reach the level of likeness, the resemblance at some point, but it was not enough. We need also to find a way to respect Coralie's vision. I would say Demi Moore in Coralie's mind, actually.
No, thank you for sharing that. I did want to ask about one specific image, which you had talked about her likeness, Demi Moore's face. It's when it's in the back.
Yeah.
At the end. Because when I first saw that, thought Demi Moore's head was poking up out of it the entire time.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious about how you captured it so perfectly there.
Did you mean the blob at the end, crawling on the star, or
all from when she's in the auditorium all the way to that moment? Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, we've done exactly the same thing. We work with videogrammetry. It's basically what we are doing when we try to capture the best performance of an actress or an actor. So we've done actually a remote shoot with her it was kind of crazy because it was during the strike in LA. So after the strike, she accepted to do like a technical shooting, and it was great because Coralie could also directed this shooting, telling Demi what she needed to do. After that, we started to get all the data, and we were able also to fit exactly what Coralie, in the editing room, she was able to use directly the footage from the data we get. In the meantime, we were just putting everything in CG, exactly matching what she's done on the editing room. That was kind of new workflow we've never done, so it was kind of cool also, but kind of scary because it was like maybe 1 month before the delivery and the Cannes World Premiere, so it was kind of crazy ride until the end, until actually we've delivered our latest version 3 days before, 3 days before the world premiere.
The challenge, the last shot of the film,
Yeah.
the face of Demi Moore watching the sky and the palm tree was very emotive. And we wanted to, Coralie wanted to push this, and I think it's part of the success of the film. It's that it's also very emotive because very human. It's a blob, it's a thing, but this face. And this is really what you, bravo, parce que this is you did it, and it was very challenging.
It was definitely, I think, the most important shot for Coralie for sure. So we needed to be sure to match exactly Demi's performance. So there were no room for error or try something. We need to match exactly the shoot. So yeah, that was one of the most difficult thing to do. Give all the creature life actually.
And when Coralie, when you the first time you have read the script, the first reaction was okay, VFX, digital, we will. And she said, no, I want the contrary. I need VFX, I need digital, but I want something organic. I want something, as you said, in the 80s. And so we had to change totally the use we have now to do films. That means you schedule a film and you know that part of the film will be done in post. That we had to do everything on set and also in post. But so we had to have cheaper set to save the money. It was a different balance than the kind of film we can do at the moment, but the result was good enough to be to get all these awards and etc. But it was very so exciting to do that with Coralie. Different. So for the crew, we had to find the crew able to and very patient and very excited by the project too. So very excited by the idea to make a film different with the risk. So maybe Coralie said when the monster, for example, the monster. The first time we saw the monster in the courtyard of the studio, it was we said, okay, it's gonna be challenging to make it very impressive. And she said, yes, this film is it's between. It's like all genre film. It's always between something very bad or very and cult, and we are between this. So we have to work to be in the right place. And all the crew. First, it was to understand that I had to make a screening for the crew that showing what we. After 3 weeks of shoot, I decided to organize a screening. To look at the film we are making, and they said, okay, and they started to understand what the kind of film we did very different. And after they were more and more dedicated, and now we are a big family, and they are also proud, and they were all French, and also that kind of film down in France, not so usual. So we are happy to.
Could you talk about that, Daphne? What made it not so usual? You had said that the film was not so usual to be shot in this way.
Not so usual, yes, because first the vision of the director was very special. So that is what the audience loved. It started here, and very special. So we had to understand her vision, and also it was a vision work in progress. Coralie is a very, very hard worker, but she also never stopped to think. She's very open to proposition, so at all the department. So this was, the ambition. The ambition of the film was unusual in France, and now, we want to keep. I want to keep doing that kind of movie, working with that kind of director with a strong vision, and finding and proposing people, crew, able to follow and to support in this. This was not. We have good film in France, but it's more between very little film to no big films, and this one was. Yes, different.
Daphne, do you think this could be a model for how things could go going forward?
Yes, for international movie coming, I think it really started telling international production that when they come to France, well, you don't come to France just for a tax rebate. Obviously, it's much more than that. You come to France for natural location because it's a gigantic set, but you come also for all the talented crew. And this is an illustration. And when people see all the French people that have worked here, they are called upon on international production. Pierre-Olivier Persin, Jean Miel about the blood, and we have all that in France. And when they're committed to movie, as Nicolas said, they're passionate people. In France, people do love cinema. Cinema was born here. We have a real culture. And when we're talking to American producers, they really want to tap into that as well, because you can feel that in the movie. And so I think that is the sense of it. But last year, what was interesting is that we had The Substance, which is an American movie shot in France, and we had also Emilia Perez, which is a French movie, but the story is taking place in Mexico, but shot also in France, in studio with an international cast. And I think it showed everything that is possible in France. That was maybe when you think shooting in France, you don't think about stages because of the Nouvelle Vague and going, outside. But no, actually, we are, expanding our offer or capacity of some stages. We have a huge public investment plan going on. And so we have a Paris Street backlot. We're offering more on that. And when you see what's possible here, it was at TSF Épinay, which is like a boutique studio. Actually, I think you told me that Demi, when she came there, she was like, "Oh, I'm feeling good vibe. I will be."
Yes, because it's a historical studio, like 100 years old history with a classic movie there. And I explained to her that here, and she just walked silently and said, "Yes, good vibes." And she had to stay 5 months in this studio, and a part of the long part naked. With blood on her, in months with prosthetics on her. So yes, it was, and she was very happy to go back to her apartment in Paris. Find that her family came. Yes, it's also really something. I think it was very helpful to be in Paris for the talents. Margaret also, her husband is a music producer. He recorded, make a record in Paris. So it's this is also something we have in the positive column to come to France.
Yeah, that's what we call the French experience. You have to embrace all of it, and that's kind of, you want to spend 5 months where Paris is a fine place.
Dennis Quaid also was happy to come with his girlfriend. He said, the working title said to me, he wants to travel Première Air France, make it possible because it's very important for him. And no, it was nice. We were happy that.
I just couldn't get over you were talking about the good vibes on set, and we were watching Margaret Qualley smash a face into a mirror. You had mentioned that Demi Moore would go back to her apartment. If I'm understanding correctly, she moved here. She was fully passionate about spending a good amount of time here, and I was curious about, was that always the plan? What was the conversation like with her? Because she's Demi Moore. She's a big name talent, was nominated for awards. Was she always committed to fully moving here for the production?
Yes, we absolutely wanted the both actress the whole shooting time, because you know long time for the makeup, so that means we started with one actress in the morning, and after and also flexibility. And yes, they never said, it's boring, I want to go back, I will come back when you will need me. We always was really okay. And also Demi spent weekend in Greece, or for her it was so easy. So yes, it's...
And I should mention, because this is all work as a film commission, so we support visa for international cast and crew. So it's interesting to know that when they come for a shorter period of time, less than 3 months, actually they don't need a visa to come, so that's easy. That's not the case in every country, but for a longer period they do need a visa, and my team is really helpful. I think we're one of the best in that area, and Joanna was in the room today. She will manage to get you your visa. And so it's always great when you have a note from a talent that say thank you so much for all your help.
We are France is really it's a small country when we need to be a small country, and also a big country because we have more and more crew speaking English crew, familiar with international productions, and this is also again you can. Take advantage of the both part of the, it's, I think. So it's Daphne and her team is very, they are very helpful to make the film possible in France. And yeah.
And I wanted to ask, because you had mentioned about people coming to France and assume it's the locations outside, it's the beautiful vistas, but it's also the sets. And I wanted to ask more about that, and also get to the set at the end in the theater and what that experience was like. Do you know, are you seeing a growth in your experience in those sets for more of these productions that are coming to France?
Yes, absolutely. And this investment plan to grow the infrastructure is both for international production coming, but also for French domestic production that are actually more and more using the stage. Because what we've seen, it came from TV series, with a lot of episodes, and so you need to build recurring sets. So this is how it started. But when you have also ambitious film, they can come to set. And we had, for example, The Nun 2, which was a success at the box office in 2023, that was entirely shot in France, both natural location and in studio, in Provence studio in the south. We also had Serpent Queen 2 season, and it was also in Provence studio, and they did some virtual shooting as well, because they have a virtual set there and some natural location. So the combination of the two is really what you come to look for in France, and we can offer that now.
Absolutely. I was then I want to get to the end, big bloody moment, because I still remember seeing it here, and that just blowing the roof off of the press screening. But I'm curious about when we talk about these types of productions, providing visas, providing all the support, is there anything that you see still needing to grow into? What would be, as a commission, that you would want to see happen in the next 5 years, the next 10 years, to continue growing?
I think actually we love having like a big blockbuster and Hollywood production coming, but we're actually really open to independent movie that are close to what Nicolas is saying, the way we do cinema in France. and sometimes we can't come, it would be too expensive. But actually the substance is it's a mid-budget, 22 million, I guess. So it's
And it made a lot of money at the box office.
and
It was a
made a lot of,
success.
yes, but we can also, welcome movies with a smaller budget. We actually did very, very, very small movies, a couple of €100,000. And to qualify for the tax rebate, you need to spend at least 250K, which is not that much, or half of your budget if it's under than that. So you can manage. We welcome short movie also, but we want to tell the world that independent movie are welcome as well, and they can benefit from all the talents of all the crew and the VFX.
Speaking of VFX, I want to get to a close read of that final scene. I would imagine that wasn't an actual theater because it got destroyed. The big where she comes out to sing, and then all chaos breaks loose.
It was in TSF Studio. It was built in TSF Studio.
What was? I know this is maybe shifting into more like production design and other things, but were you part of that conversation?
Actually, I was not, because they were a production visual effects supervisor, Brian Jones, who's been in touch directly with all the head of departments, so production designer, DOP, everything. So, but I know a funny fact about this scene is I think Jean-Miel reached the world record of blood on this one. How much?
Do you know
blood?
how much? I know.
5,500 gallons we use, yes, fake blood. But
Only
before,
that much?
Yes, but it's like 1 month to research to get the blood not dangerous for the people, because we sprayed it to the audience of the theater. So it had to be.
This is the scene here.
Exactly,
Yes,
exactly.
and also usually they to make the blood realistic, they use glucose, sugar, And the problem is summer sugar, that means bees, dangerous. So the Jean-Miel created something. So we spend. We use the money to search and to find that kind of thing. And to be honest, when Coralie immediately said the scene at the end, I want a lot of blood. I said, yeah. I really want a lot, and really a lot of blood. Okay. And the reference was Carrie and even the fireman. And first we proposed to her something little. Yes, but if we want to shoot in the real theater, real location, we can't have the power of that. And she said to me, I remember, so that means you want me to adapt my scene to the location. We need to adapt the location to my scene. And I said to her, you're so right. And so, thanks to the production designer, he said, okay, we have to build this theater. I will think about it. And so we have to build a basin, and to build the theater on the basin. And we did it, and the size was good, because the scene, it's really it has to be large, and yes. No, it was funny. It was funny to do, funny and also hard work, but yes.
And if you want an anecdote on the blood, we had a discussion about the substance in front of an audience, and the team, actually, you on stage, you joke about the fact that it was real human blood, and somebody on the audience, why did you use so many human blood? Everyone like, no, this is actually fake blood. Don't spread the rumor.
I received that message. And,
Do you know, because the thing that I think about watching this is, you probably had to do this for a fair amount of time to get the amount of shots that you wanted. How long of a shoot was this scene?
9 days.
9 days. You weren't spraying blood for 9 days.
Yes.
But 9 days straight of spraying blood?
Yeah. And we in the courtyard of the studio, we had showers. Yes, it was special. And the surprise was it was dangerous. Dangerous scene, because sleeping, and so we realized that dangerous, and also in the blood, in the eyes of the. So we had to the older people receiving the blood was stunts. This is not usual in France. You know, stunts is usually to have a fight or car chase. But for that kind of scene, we didn't imagine to get 30 stunts just to receive the blood. But yes, and it was the climax of the film, and the producer Eric Fellner, the producer of the film, said to me, you know, Nicolas, this film takes place in an apartment. It's dark. Two women, so this film has to be really spectacular, and I love this. This was something from international producer, and I said, yes, we have to. The ambition of the film, you know, we have to support it. That and 9 days was helpful to get all the material to have it. Yes, to have the good scene on the film.
Pivoting a little bit, I wanted to ask a couple kind of final questions. The first was about, we had alluded to it earlier, becoming a very big success. I was wondering if you could talk about the relationship with Mubi and how they supported the film and what it was like working with them.
So, yes, at the end, just before Cannes, Universal, which was so, I had such a good relationships with Universal during the film, but the film was also unusual for them because very long shoot, and you know, doing freestyle, a bit French style, so, you know, American studio film and French style, and they were confident in us, but at the end, you know, the film was made. We don't know why, but they said, we think we are not the best company to sail the film around the world. So they choose the more indie company, and it was, you know, the film was proposed to different kind of, a Mubi got the film, and thanks to the film, Mubi grew up. So they are very happy of the film, and it was also an adventure for them. You know, it's like the adventure was really from the moment Coralie started to tell me the story in the terrace of a cafe until the Oscars with Mubi, and yes, it's sometimes where you have that kind of film. I want to just before to finish, I have learned a story, interesting story at a lunch today. The producer of a new film, Les Miserables, from Victor Hugo, big film, French film, big French blockbuster. The production said to me, I first started to ask all the country, Eastern Europe, to see where will be the best place to make all the to shoot the riots, you know, the scenes in the streets, and with a lot of extras. It was 5 weeks of shoot, and so all the country we know, Hungary, Czech Republic, Romania, etc., and it was not really what all the country was special, and he asked the mayor of Bordeaux, which is one with amazing, very preserved in the 18th century building, very preserved, and the mayor of Bordeaux said, Victor Hugo, for me, it's really something. I'm sure the people of Bordeaux will love to do it. So if you want, you can come to shoot in exterior, natural location in Bordeaux, the scene, the riots, the exterior scene of Les Miserables, and they will do it. And he said to me, it's crazy because first it was the last option, you know. And it's so it's going to be different on screen because it's going to be real, more authentic, and so cheaper, you know, cheaper and better. And so I wanted to finish that because very new, and it's again same as the substance. We can really, I think, the locations, the authority are more open. They understood that we have to also to use. Or city or location for the cinema.
As a last question, briefly for all of you, we live in a time, and we had talked about this a little bit earlier, that the global exchange of art, of production, of film, of talent isn't always supported. And we don't know what that will look like, but I'm curious, what hopes do you have, or what projects are you all working on that you think bring us together globally around film, around cinema, around art?
Well, I think culture in general in cinema is really shared. Culture is shared and it brings people together. And so what I've seen in Cannes so far is people from all over the world, they still want to collaborate, and we're meeting with a lot of US, but also UK and other parts of the world, and we want to continue. And we want that kind of movie to be able to exist. And as I said at the beginning, this couldn't have been done, for example, in the US with the existing context. So, and I think we're all glad here today that the substance is actually here and that it was such a success.
Yeah, for us at Noid, this movie has been really, I think, a game changer for us. It put us on the map, international map, as a VFX company. It put lights on us. We won prizes, we won awards, European awards actually. So yeah, and we actually work with Sony. So it was definitely something that changed, our visibility and in the VFX industry.
And for me, I want to convince a producer to come to France and to say, okay, you need a studio way of filmmaking. We can propose it to you, or you need, because of budget, because of you want to shoot in a location that you have to be a small crew, light. This is also possible in France. The crew will be happy to do that, and we can mix in the same film, a big film, Hollywood film, and Nouvelle Vague film, and for the to get the best, to use the money as best as possible, because we know that it's going harder and harder to make films. So I think France is really a good place for that.
Well, thank you so much for your time. On that note, let's everyone give them a round of applause once more. And yourselves, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, all.